Hockey Talk Show. Yes, indeed. Hockey Talk Show on this. Is it a Friday? Are we Fridaying it up? It's Friday. Sweet Friday. I'm a little thrown off. I'm a little messed up today because I was off from my regular job as morning show host over at WEHM Radio. Took the day off. Got a lot of vacation days left. You guys probably know this crunch. You're down to the end of the year. You got vacation building up. Got to take it. And so I'm going to be taking a bunch of vacation throughout the course of December. So a lot of great live hockey talk shows to be had in this month of December, which is going to be awesome. You know the title of the show right there, Doughty Karlsson leaving. That is my official prediction. Drew Doughty and Erik Karlsson will no longer be LA Kings and Ottawa Senators, respectively, at the end of their free agent year. We're going to talk about that on the Hockey Talk Show. That's going to be our main driving point here on the Hockey Talk Show. Of course, your thoughts on the phone there at 631-438-1768. You can hit us up on the Facebook and YouTube chat. See, we got some watchers, some viewers in already, which is awesome. Thank you guys for that. Always great to have you join us here on the Hockey Talk Show. We are a smidge late tonight, and it's funny. I forget who we were chatting with just prior to the start of the show here. But I was saying to one of the viewers of the Hockey Talk Show that we're really leaning towards a 5:30, 6 o'clock showtime. That's really, I think, where we want to be at for the show moving forward. Of course, if you're listening via podcast, that doesn't matter to you at all, but thanks for doing that. Rate and review if you can. That would be awesome to do that. But if you like watching the live shows, we've had a couple of late ones here. Yesterday was a weird day. Yesterday was a weird personal day. But today, a little bit busy. A lot of stuff, things going on. But we're here. We're going to get through the day's biggest news in hockey. And boy, is it big news. If you're a fan of the Kings or a fan of the Senators, you have got to be a smidge worried about what's going on with your prized defenseman, because it is worrisome. Quick hits on what's going on in the National Hockey League, though. Daniel Sedin netting his 1,000th career point with the game-tying goal. Canucks down the Preds 5-3, snapped a 4-game losing streak. Brock Besser scored twice for the Canucks, which was a nice thing to have coming off of the news that Derek Dorsett was forced to retire. So that was great news following a bad news story from Derek Dorsett there. Daniel Sedin getting that 1,000th career point. That's pretty good. Brendan Gallagher putting 2 in the net. How about this? Carey Price made 28 save. Canadians extend their winning streak to 4 games in a row with a 6-3 win over the Red Wings. Canadians playing without Jonathan Drouin and Shea Weber. I always find that interesting when you lose some of your best players and you wind up playing better. But that's what they did there. And, of course, that minor deal that we talked about yesterday, picking up dishing off Peter Holland and picking up Adam Cracknell. So there's that. Marian Gaborik scored his first 2 goals of the season. Jonathan Quick made 27 saves. And the Kings went on to a 5-2 victory over the Washington Capitol. Kuznetsov netted both the Caps goals there. Caps continuing to struggle a bit in the East. They're in a playoff spot, right? They are in the last wild card spot right now. I thought for sure they would be up at the top of the Metro Division. Instead, that belongs to Columbus, the Islanders, and the New Jersey Devils. Other quick hits and notes here for you as we look across the National Hockey League. Eric Stahl scored twice for the Minnesota Wild. They doubled up on the Golden Knights 4-2. Knights activated Lucas Spezza off of injured reserve, which is great, but they put David Perron and William Carrier on IR. IR is busy these days. Lots of IR things going on. Edmonton Oilers defenseman Chris Russell accidentally scored the winning goal into his own net last night as the Oilers fell to the Maple Leafs 6-4. Before that, Russell had a goal and an assist, so Unofficially, 2 goals for Chris Russell. William Nylander scored and set up the other 2 goals. The Oilers were playing without Cam Talbot for the first time. I don't know if their backup is going to be able to really pull it off. We'll wait and see on that one. Let's talk about Drew Doughty and Erik Karlsson. These guys could potentially be on the move, and that is frightening if you're a fan of the Kings or the Ottawa Senators. I am terrified for you Ottawa Senators fans out there. I mean, not only are you facing, a building that's empty most of the times, not only are you facing that, trying to get that downtown arena, maybe the team might move. Could you imagine losing Erik Karlsson and then a team shortly thereafter? I mean, insult to injury when you get down to it. That would be just pitiful. I'm not sure what's going to come about for the arena. There's no updates there, but it sounds like Erik Karlsson. Here's the thing. Drew Doughty gave an interview. We're going to play a clip for you. And he made it seem like money was the most important thing to him. He said all the right things. He said, well, I'd like to stay in Los Angeles, but I understand if I have to test the market. So there's that. And then when you look at it and you get down to it, if that's what Drew Doughty is going to be doing and he's going to be the most prized, or him and Karlsson 1A as far as most prized possessions go, as far as the free agency market is in that year. If he's going to get that kind of money, if that's what he's going to be looking for, which is big money, we'll get into it. What's Erik Karlsson going to be looking for? And can the Ottawa Senators afford to pay it? I submit that they cannot. That's your old pal Ann's theory. I don't know if the Edmonton Oilers the Ottawa Senators are going to be able to pony up because they are not a cap team. The Oilers are absolutely in no way, shape, or form a cap team. In fact, as they stand right now, they have $8 million in cap space. $8 million in cap space. I don't know how you're going to fork over the type of money that Erik Karlsson is probably going to be looking for. First, let's start here. And this, here lies a little bit of the issue. Take a look at the free agent class in 2019. So not this season, not this offseason, but next offseason. This is what the National Hockey League is looking for or will be offering up as far as free agents go. Drew Doughty, Erik Karlsson, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Tyler Myers, Brooks Orpik, who at 37 may not be all that prized, might be on his way out. But Jay Bouwmeester will command a nice little chunk of change. Alex Edler will probably surpass Jay Bouwmeester. Mark Mathot will bring in some bucks. Paul Martin and Nicholas Kronwall, 36 years old. I don't expect a ton out of them. But take a look at one of those last few names down there on that list. Ryan McDonough. Anton Strollman. You've got some, Nicholas Yarmulson. You've got some amazing defensemen. Even Jake Gardner is down on this list. I mean, you got a list of defensemen coming here that is just the most ridiculous I have ever seen. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, why are you getting involved with it now, Ant? Well, A, because of Drew Doughty's comments, and B, this list is going to start to seriously heat up come July 1st this year, because that's what happens in the National Hockey League. You're a free agent, but the July 1st prior to you becoming a free agent, you are allowed to talk and discuss with your own team. So Drew Doughty can start negotiating with the Kings in July. Karlsson, Oliver Ekman-Larsson with Arizona, the same deal. Now, we talked about this. I don't think that Ekman-Larsson will be with the Arizona Coyotes for much longer. I think he's going to be on the move, and I think he's an interesting one. He's the most interesting one now because Doughty and Karlsson are not going anywhere until free agency pops up. But Oliver Ekman-Larsson looks like he could definitely be on the move. So that's what makes it interesting for this season. But is looking into next season, come July 1, everybody's going to be talking about Drew Doughty and Erik Karlsson the same way everybody's talking about John Tavares right now. What's happening with John Tavares? Is he re-signing this and that? And by the way, I think this is something we're going to tackle soon. I don't know if anybody really knows what's happening with John Tavares. I know Pierre LeBrun said something about it today, but it doesn't overwhelmingly make me feel all that great about the situation. I honestly don't know. As far as Tavares goes, I don't know where he would go if he were to leave the Islanders. And the way the Islanders are going right now, it might not even be worth talking about this because they are slaying right now. Second place in the Metro Division. They're undefeated at the Barclays Center in regulation. I think they've won 4 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they've just, they're playing amazing hockey. He kind of wanted to wait around to see what this team would be. And I'll tell you something, I believe, much like Butch Goring was the last piece that the 1980 team needed to win a cup, and they went on to go win 4. I believe that Jordan Eberle is that piece for the New York Islanders. And Eberle * Matthew Barzal, like those two guys coming up and contributing the way that they've been contributing has really, to me, been the difference for the New York Islanders so far this year. They are on a 4-game winning streak, by the way. 7-2-1 in their last 10, 8-0 deuce on home ice at the Barclays Center, which everybody says they hate. They hate the ice. They hate this. They hate that. But they're playing really, really good over there at the Barclays Center right now. But this list is insane. And things are going to heat up come July 1st. Everybody is going to be talking about what these guys are doing on July 1st. Everybody's going to expect these guys to have an offer from their teams on July 1st. Now, the weird thing is what John Tavares is doing right now isn't exactly original. Steven Stamkos set a precedent, which is I am not going to sign on July 1st, the year before I'm eligible for free agency. I am going to test the waters, and that is exactly what Steven Stamkos did. Steven Stamkos went around and met with potential teams. From what I understand, Toronto was one of them. And he weighed his options, and he went back home to Tampa, and he did take a little bit of a discount to do so. And that is set up this weird scenario where it looks like John Tavares, who, by the way, is close with Steven Stamkos. They are pretty tight, similar in age. I think Stammer's a year or two older than him, but obviously know each other from playing years as young players in Canada. And I think that's what John Tavares is doing. He wants to see what he's got here. And I think when he looks at what he's got to play with, he's got a lot. He's got a lot. You have Barzal, Ho-Sang, Beauvillier, who are super young. You have Eberle, Ladd, who are in there and ready to go. Bailey is a free agent, but I think would be happy to come back with the Islanders. Can they fit both of them under the cap would be the issue. But I think both of them would take a discount to continue to play with each other. They are very close from what I understand. And you have Anders Lee, who's under control for a long time. Brock Nelson, who's got a few more years. So I think there's a lot of attractiveness to John Tavares staying with the New York Islanders. I just do. Whether he loves or hates the Barclays Center is another issue altogether, but I don't know if a rink could honestly, because they have a beautiful practice facility on Long Island, close to where he lives, and he travels into Brooklyn to play the games. I mean, you're literally there 41 times a year. From what I understand, the Barclays Center is more than ample as far as player amenities go. So I don't know if he is really going to be on the move. Drew Doughty, however, is a totally different story. Go over to The Athletic, and he sat down and spoke with Frank Provenzano, who did a podcast and released the audio. So we'll credit the Frank Proven, the full 60 with Craig Custer. I don't even know where the hell this is from, but we thank the gentleman for that. Is it Craig Costance's thing? I don't know. But I think Provenzano was the one who was asking the questions. I believe this was either post-game or pre-practice because you can hear some of the chatter in the conversation. But here we'll play for you now what Drew Doughty said that set off a whirlwind of media scrutiny today. Prior to this question, he was told who is going to be available via free agency. Again, we'll pop the list up for you here. There you can see Doughty, Karlsson, Larson. You know, he was told like who it was going to be, and he said, and then he was asked, "What are you thinking? Where's your mindset?" Here's what Drew Doughty had to say.
We're already saying, boy, this is an all-timer in the media, because that's what we do.
Well, like, I didn't know any of that, but, like, obviously I know I'm going to talk to Karlsson, you know, back and forth, kind of, you know, just kind of see what money he's looking for. I'll kind of look at what money I'm looking for. And, you know, I don't know if he's going to re-sign with Ottawa. I don't know if I'll re-sign with LA, so you just never know what's going to happen, but, yeah, I don't know. I've thought about it, actually, lately. I don't know why. Kind of just thought about my options and stuff like that, but you know, I never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So you guys as players communicate internally. It's smart, I would think. So you know what you're doing.
I don't know if we usually do, but I think I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
See what he's, you know, it's not like I'm trying to go out there and make more money than him or whatever.
Right.
It's not like that, but you know, to get a gauge, obviously, right now, I guess we'd be gauging off what PK makes, and you know, I think both of us deserve quite a bit more than that. So.
Yeah, there hasn't been some suits that really.
Is he making the most, Suter?
No, but like in terms of free agents, right? Like,
yeah.
I think PK. Well, Hedman went low because of Eisenman and like the Stamkos thing. So
yeah.
He took a discount.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been like that big. Like this year, there's not going to be Mike Green and Karlsson, John Wilson. So like, it's on you guys to carry the torch.
Yeah, I'm fine by carrying that.
I'm fine by carrying that. Yeah, there you go. It's up to you guys to carry the torch. Well, I'm fine by carrying that. 631-438-1768 to call into the Hockey Talk Show on Twitter at Hockey Talk Show, Facebook and YouTube. Drop your comments in the comments section below. There's Drew Doughty laying it down for everyone. Here's the moment of significance. What's PK Subban make? We'll probably do better than that. He said it right there. He said it. And thanks to Craig Constance and Frank Provenzano for the audio clip there of Drew Doughty. A lot of background noise there, so obviously in the locker room. But you heard him say right there, what's PK Subban making? PK Subban's the highest paid defenseman. Well, we'd probably want to be better than that. He said it right there. We probably want to be better than that. PK Subban, by the way, for those of you who are curious, where is he at? $9 million? Capfriendly.com is the absolute best for finding out players' salaries if you need to do that. PK Subban is making $9 million a year. There he is right there. There's PK, $9 million a year. Now, I love PK Subban. I love his game. But is there any doubt that Erik Karlsson's better than PK Subban? I don't think so. You can make the argument for Drew Doughty. They're pretty damn close. But here's the problem. Free agents who come later on are always better off. Now, the cap continues to go up, and I think we're going to see it kind of slow down a little bit. So that might not be the case in a couple of years if it levels off or stays the same or starts to go down. But as we've seen this cap just skyrocket, everybody who's become a free agent later on has fared far better. So Drew Doughty, I think, will definitely be paid more than that. So now we're talking about upwards of $9 to $11 million. Because I don't know if they can really pull 12 or 13, but they can certainly try and go there. Now, when you look at the cap for the Los Angeles Kings right now, Doughty's already making 7, so to get him up to 10 is not ludicrous. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if it's going to be entirely possible, but you do have a couple of low-lying forwards, Tanner Pearson, Trevor Lewis, Kyle Clifford. You may have to nix 2, 3, or 4 of these guys to make room for Drew Doughty if he's going to stay in Los Angeles. Whether they can do that or not, whether they want to do that or not, is entirely up to them. They have around $3 million of cap space right now, having to deal with a couple of the other free agents that they're going to have in the mix. It'll be interesting to see if they are going to be able to do something with Drew Doughty. I certainly think they have a better chance than the Ottawa Senators. Let's go look at the Ottawa Senators here. And it's the Dion Phaneuf deal that is really, really going to hamper the Ottawa Senators, because they're forking over $7 million to Dion, and it's a problem. Bobby Ryan as well at 7.25. Matt Duchene at 6. Won't be an issue because by the time Duchene's up, Karlsson will be up too. But they have other issues to deal with. Alex Burrows, Nate Thompson, and Mark Stone would be the huge one. He's going to get a deal as he's a restricted free agent, and they could potentially lose him too, because if they want to just give him a simple raise, he doesn't have to take it. I believe at 25 he has arbitration rights, but we'll have to go back and check on that. But you look at the defensive core here that Ottawa has. Cody Ceci making 2.8. Do you re-sign him long term, and how much do you give him? It's easy to give him a year. You got one more year to get in there and worry about Erik Karlsson. But Johnny Oduya is making $1 million. He's 36, so he's up there. Can they get some of their younger guys to come in, the Ben Harpers, the Thomas Shabbats, and contribute? And they're going to have to, especially if they're going to commit upwards of $17 million to two defensemen. I mean, that Dion Phaneuf deal is killing them. And I know Dion is good. He's not $7 million good. And he's not going to be $7 million good in 2 years, which is the problem. But when you look at the Ottawa Senators, they are not a cap team. They don't spend up to the cap. They really don't. They're in a market that doesn't sell out games. Only real Canadian market that's having that issue and having it as big as they are. And they're not a cap spending team. It's going to be another $4 or $5 million. Again, can you wrap up $17, $18 million in two defensemen if you're the Ottawa Senators? Can you really honestly do that? I think Erik Karlsson has a phenomenal chance at walking away. And it breaks my heart to say that, Senators fans, but it's true. I think out of all of these potential free agents, outside of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, because we know he's going, he's just, he's going to go probably in a trade this season. It would be dumb for the Arizona Coyotes to hold on to him for any other reason. It would just be stupid. But aside from him, I think Erik Karlsson has the best chance of going. I really do. Now, I don't know what the Rangers are going to look like there, because McDonough is certainly an interesting one, and Tyler Myers is an interesting one in Winnipeg. Jay Bouwmeester has fit in really well with St. Louis. They're really good. Alexander Edler in Vancouver, they're on the rise. Maybe he wants to stay and play with a guy like Bozer. Who knows? But the Senators are going to have to make a decision there. And by the way, rumors started flying around that Eugene Melnyk is thinking about selling the team. The Senators actually responded saying, I don't know where anybody's hearing this stuff from, but we're not saying it. But that was what was said. So I don't know. But there's a lot to deal with. There's a lot of uncertainty suddenly in the land of Ottawa. Do they stay in Ottawa? Do they get the downtown arena? Do they wind up moving over to Quebec? Can they keep Erik Karlsson? We'll have to wait and see. It's a quick one tonight on the Hockey Talk Show. It's 7:30 here on the East time we're recording this. I know a lot of games are on, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thanks so much for the comments that have come in. Thanks so much for supporting the Hockey Talk Show. By the way, superseding 500 fans on Facebook, which is just huge. We've got great YouTube numbers, subscriptions coming in every day. Thanks for that. Continue to share, continue to swing it around. HockeyTalkShow.com has all the other information. Thanks so much for joining us. Back with you Monday here. 5 live shows a week. That's what we're doing now.